next question. Why is a plant called Prosopis juliflora often mentioned in news? Again, this is something that we had discussed. As I told you, species, if it's coming right now, it's either a star species related in-depth question, or it's an invasive species related one-layer general question, or if it's a current affair or a general species in like for example an ant, bee, it will be a very open-ended question, like we read for that microorganisms. It can occur in pH levels, it can occur in acidic areas. In that, it will be like a very broad question. So what is this question asking us? Why is a plant called as Prosopis juliflora often mentioned in news? Its extract is widely used in cosmetics. It tends to reduce the biodiversity in the area in which it occurs. Its extract is used in the synthesis of pesticides. None of these. See, Prosopis juliflora is an invasive alien species. Okay, and wide areas of a lot of grasslands in areas of Tamil Nadu, specifically if you look at it, Mudumalai National Park. In all of these areas, it has caused widespread damage. The answer to this question is B. It tends to reduce the biodiversity in the area which it grows. Moving to the next question, the term M. stripes is sometimes seen in news in the context of what? Captive breeding of wild fauna, maintenance of tiger reserves, indigenous satellite navigation system, security of national highways. This is a very direct current affair based question. Its option is option B. A lot of people, I remember a lot of my friends, they just read M. stripes and they were like, yeah, sure, it should be with your tiger reserves. And yes, it was related to your tiger reserves. The answer to this question is B. Moving forward, in which one of the following regions of India are you most likely to come across the Great Indian Hornbill in its natural habitat? Great Indian Hornbill. Now, the reason, if you look at the options, they've said sand deserts of northwest India, higher Himalayas of Jammu and Kashmir, salt marshes of western Gujarat, and your western Ghats. Can I just ask you, do you see any odd option over here? They've given 4 options, and one common trait between 3 options is this is sand desert, which is arid without water. Higher Himalayas of Jammu and Kashmir, again desert-like thing, which is but a cold desert. The third one is salt marshes of Western Ghats, which is a salt, arid, salty and arid region. 3 very similarly placed. I won't say very similarly because you have the cold Himalayas and your hot, the deserts also, but most of it, 3 of them being very desert-like. Okay. This is the one thing. Only the odd option out of here is Western Ghats, which is full of rain and all of these water bodies and etc., which is very ideal for the growth of something called as, it's a bird, right? It's a Great Indian Hornbill. Anyway, keep that in point over there. Now, let's try to explore one other aspect also. We generally hear this full name called as your Great Indian Bustard. Okay, and we hear that a lot. And here, they've just tried to play into that thing of yours where you see Great Indian and you think naturally bustard in your head. And if it was Great Indian Bustard, obviously your answers would have been either A or C. Okay, so they try to play into that, but here, when you look at the Great Indian Hornbill, it's a very majestic, very colorful feathered bird which occurs in your Western Ghats. Okay, that doesn't end it there. You need to have some information about the hornbill. In India, the hornbill occurs in a very scattered population in 2 major parts. It occurs in Western Ghats, primarily in the areas of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, etc. Other than that, it occurs in northeastern India. In northeastern India, it occurs in Arunachal, Assam, etc. Okay. Now, the bird has been so important to the culture of these areas, so much so that in Arunachal Pradesh and Kerala, the bird is considered as the state bird of these areas. Okay. And I also told you it occurs in some other areas in the northeast. And in correlation to that, there is a major cultural festival that is celebrated for, the revering of these birds, for the conservation of these birds, and to celebrate the activities related to it. It's something called as your Hornbill Festival. Now, the important point over here is the state bird, it is of Arunachal and Kerala. But the Hornbill Festival happens in Nagaland. Happens in Nagaland. Okay. So that is the extra points to this. The answer to this question is D, Western Ghats. Moving forward, what is unique about the Kharai camel, a breed found in India? First one is it's capable of swimming up to 3 kilometers in seawater. It survives by grazing on mangroves. It lives in the wild and cannot be domesticated. And we are looking at different options which are there in this mix. So let's have a look. When it comes to the Kharai camel is an extremely rare species of camel that primarily occurs in your western India, in your areas of Gujarat, Rajasthan, etc. And as you know, in this Gujarat region, you have a lot of areas of salty marshlands. It occurs over there. These areas also on the coast, you have the Arabian Sea. I earlier told you areas like your little run of Kutch and all get inundated by water, etc. Now, Kharai camel is a unique camel species that can survive both on land and in water. In water, when I'm saying survive, it can move in large numbers in your water bodies. It can, as I said over here, up to 3 kilometers in sea water. So yes, that statement is correct. It survives by grazing on mangroves. As I again showed over here, this camel species is primarily, what is the habitat of it? It's salty, it's arid, it's very extremely dry areas, it's hot. So, and the very rare kind of plants that grow over there are your mangroves. Okay, because mangroves don't have a problem with the salt, mangroves don't have a problem with the temperature. So, mangroves grow there extensively. The primary diet of the Kharai camel is your mangroves. Okay, so that statement is correct. Last one is it lives in the wild and cannot be domesticated. The very point in which we are discussing this is because in that year there was an exclusive feature done on how Kharai camels are helping the pastoral communities over there, are helping the grazing communities over there by so that they can move around in places. So the third statement which says it lives in the wild and cannot be domesticated, that one is wrong. Once you find third is wrong itself, you do get the answer which is 1 and 2. So the answer to this question is A, 1 and 2. Moving forward, the next question is, with reference to red sanders, sometimes seen in news, consider the following statements. Again, red sanders, repeatedly we have mentioned it in our videos, in our species videos, when it comes to the tiger reserves video that is right now posted just last week. In the tiger reserves video, if you look at the part 3 of tiger reserves that are posted, I would have told you about your Sheshachalam, certain tiger reserves where you do see the presence of your red sanders. What is red sanders? Red sanders is primarily your red sandalwood. Sometimes seen in news. Consider the following statements. It's a tree species found in part of South India. It's one of the most important trees in the tropical rainforest of South India. Which of this is correct? Now, it's formed in South India. Why? Because you do see it in the places of Andhra Pradesh. But this part, which is tropical rainforest, this is quite wrong. Why? Because as I can tell you, red sanders is endemic to this area in Andhra. Andhra, if you are already familiar, does not have tropical rainforest. Andhra has a very tropical, dry, deciduous forest. So that second statement is wrong. Okay, the second statement is wrong, and the answer to this question is just one only. But let me share few more important news with you regarding this. Like every year, whenever there is this certain outbreak of plant diseases, this red sanders gets affected by a certain disease called as your sandalwood spike disease. Sandalwood spike disease. And also because this species is so rare, also then what happens is there is so much of damage done to these ones, and this sandalwood spike disease is primarily caused by a bacterial parasite called as your Phytoplasmas. Phytoplasmas. It's a bacterial parasite. Okay. So it's quite interesting that we are discussing this on the very recent days after your Pushpa 2 has released. Why? Because again, that talks about entirely about the poaching of these specific trees. So just look at it. This is a tree which is poached heavily. It's very rarely occurring in certain parts of our country. And on top of it, this disease can also damage it, this sandalwood spike disease. So can you give me an estimate about what would be its IUCN status? Yeah, if you've guessed endangered, it's correct. Why? Because previously it used to be near threatened and everything, but in the recent years, there's so much of damage done to the population of these trees. Right now, this is specifically a endangered species. It's an endangered species.